Your future self's quantum signal. This isn't just a video, this is a signal. A quantum signal from your future self. The version of you who already has everything you've been dreaming of. They've been trying to reach you through signs, through intuition, through coincidences you couldn't explain. And now, you finally found this message. Stay till the end, because this is the moment your timeline shifts forever. If you're hearing this, it's not a coincidence. It's not an accident. It's not random. Something pulled you here. Something bigger than algorithms, bigger than chance, bigger than you can imagine. Your future self has been trying to get your attention for months, maybe years. And today, you finally answer the call. You don't need to believe me right now. You don't need to fully understand it. But deep inside, you already feel it, the shift. That strange pull in your gut, that whisper that says, this is for me. This is different. That's your confirmation. The truth is, you scheduled this moment long before you even knew what that meant. Before you opened this video, before you started searching for answers, before you questioned everything, you made an agreement with yourself. An agreement that when the time was right, when your energy was ready, when you were strong enough to hear what I'm about to tell you, you'd find this. And here you are. So let's get real. This isn't motivational fluff. This isn't about thinking positive or pretending life is perfect. This is about truth, the kind of truth that doesn't just change your day, it changes your reality. Forever. Here's what I need you to understand first. You are not broken. You never were. You were conditioned, programmed, taught to see yourself through the lens of limitation. From the day you were born, the world told you who you were supposed to be, what was possible for you, and what wasn't. They gave you a script, and you followed it. Not because you were weak, but because you were human. But somewhere along the way, that script stopped making sense. You started feeling it. The emptiness, the frustration, the quiet anger that your life didn't match your soul. You've been living inside a story that doesn't belong to you. And that's why you're here. Because the old story is collapsing. And you are waking up. Carl Jung once said, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. Think about that for a second. How many things in your life have felt like fate? The heartbreaks, the failures, the missed chances. What if I told you that wasn't fate? It was programming. Programs running silently in the background, shaping your choices, your patterns, your reality. And here's the good news. You can rewrite the code. Not by force, not by hustling harder, but by shifting into alignment with the version of you that already exists in the quantum field. Yes, the you who already has everything you want, love, abundance, peace, purpose. That version is real. It's not a dream. It's a timeline waiting for you to step into it. Here's the secret no one told you. Consciousness creates reality. Not sometimes. Not when the stars align. Always. Every thought, every belief, every emotion you hold creates a frequency. And that frequency tells the universe what to deliver next. Most people live on autopilot, recycling old thoughts, old fears, old stories, and then wondering why life never changes. But not you. Not anymore. The fact that you're here means you're ready to break that cycle. You're ready to step out of unconscious creation and into conscious alignment. You're ready to stop reacting and start designing. And listen, I'm not here to give you false promises. Life won't suddenly become perfect. Challenges will still come. But when you understand how to work with energy instead of against it, when you learn to calibrate your inner frequency instead of forcing outer circumstances, those challenges stop breaking you. They start building you. That's what your future self knows. They've mastered this. They've learned that reality is responsive, not fixed. They've discovered that when you align your thoughts, emotions, and beliefs with your highest truth, life doesn't just change, it bends. Opportunities appear. People show up. Doors open that you didn't even know existed. And right now, they're reaching for you, whispering, slow down, breathe, listen. This is your moment. Because this is the shift you've been asking for, the prayer you've been sending out, the sign you've been waiting on. And before you say, but I've tried before and nothing worked, let me tell you something. It wasn't because you weren't good enough. It wasn't because you didn't deserve it. It was because you're trying to create a new reality with the same old identity. You can't access a higher timeline while clinging to the version of you that feels unworthy of it. That's what changes now. Over the next few minutes, I'm going to take you deeper than you've ever gone. We're going to break the illusions that kept you small. We're going to rewire the beliefs that have been sabotaging you for years. And most importantly, we're going to activate the code that connects you to your highest timeline, the reality where you're already whole, already powerful, already free. So before we move forward, I want you to make a choice. Not later, not after you figure it out. Now, choose to stay present. Choose to listen, not just with your ears, but with your soul. Choose to believe, even if it's just 1% more than your doubt. Because that tiny crack of belief is all the quantum field needs to send light through your darkness. You're not here by accident. You are here because the universe doesn't waste energy on closed systems. You are open. You are ready. And your future self is smiling because they know you're about to remember who you really are. The mechanics of quantum reality, how your consciousness shapes everything. You felt it before, that strange, undeniable sense that your thoughts affect reality. Like when you thought about someone and they called, or when you imagined an outcome so vividly that it somehow happened. People call it coincidence, luck, chance. But deep down, you've always known it's more than that. You've been touching the edges of a truth that changes everything. Consciousness doesn't just observe reality, it shapes it. This is where most people get it wrong. They think reality is something fixed, something external that they have to fight, push, and hustle to change. But in the quantum field, reality isn't solid. It's energy. Energy responding to energy. And your energy, the frequency of your thoughts, emotions, and beliefs, is constantly broadcasting into that field, collapsing infinite possibilities into the one you experience. Let me break this down simply. Every second, your brain sends out electromagnetic signals. Your heart does too. Science can measure this now. Those signals interact with the energetic field around you. They attract experiences that match your frequency and repel those that don't. This is why when you're stuck in fear, everything feels heavy. Opportunities dry up. People drain you. Life feels like an uphill battle. But when you've had those moments, those rare, magical moments, when you were in love, when you were inspired, when you felt unstoppable, suddenly life flowed. People said yes. Doors opened. Ideas clicked. That wasn't random. That was resonance. Here's the shocking part. 95% of people are broadcasting fear, lack, and doubt all day long without realizing it. They say, I want abundance. But inside they're vibrating with scarcity. They say, I want love. But they carry the belief, I'm not worthy. They say, I want success. But they are obsessed with failure. And the quantum field doesn't respond to what you want. It responds to what you are. You can't fake frequency. You can't out-hustle energy. You can post vision boards all day, say affirmations until you're hoarse. But if your inner state screams, I'm not enough, you'll keep getting reality that proves you right. That's the brutal truth. But it's also your greatest power. Because the second you shift your inner state, the outer world begins to bend. And listen, I know what you're thinking, so I just need to feel good all the time. No, that's another trap. This isn't toxic positivity. This isn't pretending your pain doesn't exist. It's about becoming conscious of the energy you're broadcasting and learning how to regulate it. Not by force, but by awareness. Because here's the secret most people never learn. Your outer world is a mirror, not a maker. It doesn't create your feelings. It reflects them. Every experience you attract is feedback, not punishment, not reward. Just feedback showing you what you've been vibrating. If you've been attracting chaos, it's not because the universe hates you. It's because your nervous system is addicted to chaos. If you've been attracting love that hurts, it's not because you're broken. It's because somewhere deep down, you believe that's all you deserve. And that belief, that's the real prison. But here's the escape. The moment you see the pattern, you break its power. Because patterns run on autopilot in the dark. Bring them into the light, and they lose control. This is why awareness is everything. The second you stop living unconsciously, reacting to life like it's happening to you, and start responding from awareness, you become dangerous to every limitation you've ever carried. So let's go deeper. What is this quantum field everyone's talking about? Imagine an ocean, not of water, but of energy. Infinite, intelligent energy that connects everything. Every thought you think, every emotion you feel sends ripples into that ocean. And those ripples organize matter into form. That's why quantum physicists say reality doesn't exist in a fixed state until it's observed. Observation collapses possibilities into one reality. And your observation, your focus, is the most powerful force you'll ever wield. Here's what no one tells you. Every time you focus on what you fear, you feed it. Every time you replay the worst-case scenario in your head, you reinforce it. Every time you argue for your limitations, you lock them in place. And every time you choose to imagine what you want, to feel it before it exists, to embody the version of you who already has it, you send a new signal into the field. A signal that starts rearranging reality at a level so deep you can't see it. Yet, this is why people who understand this principle move differently. They don't waste energy fighting circumstances because they know circumstances are old news. They are the echo of past vibrations. They focus on the cause, not the effect. They don't ask, why is this happening to me? They ask, what frequency am I broadcasting that created this, and how do I shift it? That shift is everything. It's the line between living by default and living by design, between being a prisoner of your past and a master of your future. So, let me ask you, how would your life look if you stopped letting fear run the show? If you stopped vibrating scarcity and started radiating abundance? If you stopped begging life to give you what you want and started becoming the version of you that already has it? Because here's the truth, that version of you exists. Right now, in the quantum field. They are not in some distant future. They are in a different frequency. And the bridge between where you are and where they are isn't time. It's alignment. This is the work we're about to do together. Not theory, not fluff, actual recalibration, so that you can stop hoping for a better life and start embodying it now. But before we move to the next level, I want you to do something radical. I want you to comment these words right now. I am the signal. Because that's what you are. Not a receiver waiting for life to happen. A transmitter broadcasting your next reality into existence. The question is, what frequency will you choose next? Take a deep breath and lock this in. Reality is not happening to you. It's happening through you. And the more conscious you become, the more powerful you get. The identity shift, becoming the version of you who already has everything. Close your eyes for just a second. Imagine the version of you who already has everything you've been chasing. Peace, love, abundance, purpose. Picture their life in detail. The way they walk into a room, the way people respond to them, the calm in their eyes, the certainty in their voice. That version of you isn't some fantasy. They already exist. Not in your imagination. Not in some distant future you might reach if you're lucky. They exist in the quantum field. Right now, broadcasting on a frequency that you haven't tuned into yet. And the painful truth? The gap between where you are and where there isn't about time. It's about identity. This is the part most people refuse to face. You cannot create a new life with the old self. You cannot attract abundance while clinging to an identity rooted in scarcity. You cannot call on love while embodying the wounds that whisper, I'm unworthy. You cannot manifest confidence while running the same inner dialogue that says, I'm not enough. This is why so many people stay stuck. They're trying to upgrade their circumstances while clinging to the operating system that created them. They want different results without becoming a different person. But here's the secret your future self already knows. Reality bends to identity. Think about it. Every action you take flows from who you believe you are. If you believe you're a person who struggles, you'll make choices that keep struggle alive. If you believe you're someone who's unworthy of love, you'll settle for crumbs and call it feast. If you believe success is for other people, your subconscious will sabotage every opportunity. Not because you're broken, but because identity is the most powerful filter in the universe. Here's the liberating truth. Identity is not fixed. It's not carved in stone. It's programmable. You've been programmed your whole life, by parents, by culture, by trauma, by repetition. And if you were programmed once, you can be programmed again, consciously this time. But first, you have to answer one brutal question. Who have you been pretending to be? Who is the version of you that's kept you small, kept you safe, kept you trapped in the familiar, even when it's painful? The version that says, I can't, when you know damn well you can. The version that would rather fit and then stand out. The version that sacrifices dreams on the altar of other people's approval. Sit with that for a moment. Feel the weight of it. Because until you see the old identity clearly, you'll keep dragging it into every new opportunity and then wonder why nothing changes. Now, here's the quantum shift. Stop asking, what do I need to do? Start asking, who do I need to become? Because the doing will flow from the being. Always. Let me show you how identity works in the quantum field. Every identity broadcasts a specific frequency. I am broke is a frequency. I am abundant is a frequency. I am unworthy vibrates differently than I am unstoppable. And the field is neutral. It doesn't care what you say you want. It responds to who you are being. This is why affirmations fail for most people. They chant, I am wealthy, while every cell in their body screams, no, you're not. They try to stack a positive thought on top of a foundation of lack. It doesn't work because the subconscious always wins. And your subconscious identity is broadcasting 24/7. So how do you change it? Not by force, not by lying to yourself, but by repetition with emotion, by surrounding yourself with proof that your new identity is real, by acting in alignment before you feel ready, by making decisions that your old self would never dare to make. Every time you do, you send a new signal into the quantum field. You're literally collapsing old timelines and activating new ones. But let me warn you, the old identity won't go quietly. It will fight. It will whisper, who do you think you are? It will pull out every memory, every failure, every wound to drag you back into the familiar. Why? Because the subconscious craves safety, not success. And safety lives in the known, even if the known is miserable. That's why most people quit when the discomfort hits. They mistake the pain of transformation for a sign that they're on the wrong path, when in reality, it's proof they're finally breaking free. So here's the mantra for this chapter. Discomfort is the doorway. If you're feeling it, you're doing it right. Because you're dismantling the old self and wiring in the new one. Picture this with me. You wake up tomorrow and decide to embody your highest identity. Not when life changes, but now. You dress like that version. You speak like them. You walk into rooms like them. You make choices aligned with their values, their vision, their energy. At first, it feels like pretending, like playing a role. But here's the truth. You've been playing a role your entire life, the role your past programmed you to play. So why not choose a better one? Why not choose the role your soul has been begging you to remember? Here's what happens when you commit to this. Reality starts to reorganize. Not overnight, but fast enough to shock you. People treat you differently because your energy feels different. Opportunities appear because you're vibrating on a new level. Synchronicities multiply because the field recognizes your new signal. And then one day, something magical happens. You stop pretending. You stop forcing. You realize you're not acting anymore. You are that person. The identity clicked. The timeline locked in. So I'm going to challenge you right now. Comment these words below. I choose my future self now. Not later. Not when it's convenient. Not when fear disappears. Now, because that declaration isn't just a comment. It's a signal, and the quantum field is listening. The only question left is, are you brave enough to stop negotiating with your old self and start embodying the new one? Because the doorway is open. The future is waiting. And the only thing standing between you and everything you desire is the identity you refuse to release. This is the moment you stop living by default and start living by design. Not through willpower, through being. Because when you become the frequency of what you desire, reality has no choice but to reflect it back. The science of energy and emotion. Why feelings are your frequency. Pause for a second. Take a breath. Feel that? That's not just air moving through your lungs. That's energy. Life force. The raw power that creates worlds flowing through you right now. And here's the truth no one ever told you. Your emotions are the steering wheel of that energy. Every thought you think, every feeling you feel, broadcasts a signal into the quantum field. And that signal doesn't just vanish. It calls back experiences that match it. That's not woo-woo. That's physics. That's resonance. Like attracts like. Here's where it gets emotional. Because most people live their entire lives unaware of this. They wake up and immediately tune into the old frequency. Worry, stress, fear. They check their phone, see bad news, and suddenly they're vibrating in chaos before their feet even hit the floor. They don't realize they've just sent a command to the universe. Give me more to feel this way about. And the universe obeys every time. Read that again. You're not attracting what you want. You're attracting what you are. And what you are at any given moment is determined by your emotional state. You can scream affirmations all day. I'm abundant. I'm loved. I'm free. But if your body is humming with anxiety and lack, the field isn't listening to your words. It's listening to your vibration. Think about this. When was the last time you felt truly alive? That rush of energy when you were in love? Or when you nailed something you thought you couldn't do? Or when you were laughing so hard your stomach hurt? That state, joy, passion, gratitude, that's coherence. That's when your thoughts, emotions, and energy are all in alignment. And when you're in coherence, you become magnetic. People feel it. Opportunities feel it. Life bends for it. But here's the problem. Most people are running on autopilot. Their nervous system is addicted to stress like a drug. Their mind replays old stories like broken records. And their body memorizes those emotions until they become personality traits. Ever met someone who's been angry for so long they don't even notice it anymore? Or someone who's so anxious it feels like their default setting? That's emotional conditioning. And if that's you, don't judge yourself. Just see it. Because awareness is the first step to freedom. Carl Jung said, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you'll call it fate. Most people think their life is happening to them. It's not. It's happening through them, through the energy they broadcast every second of every day. So how do you change it? How do you stop being a slave to old emotional loops and start broadcasting the frequency of your future self? The answer is simpler and harder than you think. Feel on purpose. Let me explain. Most people wait for something outside to make them feel good. They wait for the money to feel abundant, the relationship to feel loved, the success to feel worthy. And that's the trap, because in the quantum field, it works the other way around. You feel it first, then it comes. Your future self isn't abundant because they have money. They have money because they live in the energy of abundance now. They're not loved because someone showed up. Someone showed up because they became love in their own frequency first. This is where 99% of people quit, because it feels unnatural at first. Your mind screams, how can I feel abundant when my bank account is empty? Your nervous system resists because it's addicted to the familiar frequency of lack. But here's the breakthrough. The old you feels familiar. The new you feels uncomfortable. That's why it's working. So here's your practice. Every day, for the next 7 days, choose one elevated emotion and embody it for 5 minutes. Gratitude, joy, love. Not in theory, in your body. Close your eyes, breathe slow, and imagine the moment your future self is already living. The breakthrough, the freedom, the peace. Feel like it's happening now, because in the quantum field it is. And when your body believes the future more than the past, reality shifts. That's not a metaphor. That's neuroscience. You're rewiring synapses. You're breaking the chemical addiction to stress. You're teaching your cells a new baseline of emotion. And the field responds fast. But let me warn you, the old emotions will fight back. They'll creep in with whispers of doubt. This isn't working. You're wasting your time. They'll try to drag you back to familiar misery. Why? Because emotions aren't just feelings. They're biochemical habits. And habits resist change. But here's your edge. When that resistance hits, you smile. Because you know it's proof the shift is happening. You're breaking the old code. You're installing a new one. And every time you hold the new frequency longer than before, you're collapsing old timelines and birthing new ones. Imagine this. A year from now, you wake up and realize your entire life feels different. Not because the world changed, but because you did. You feel calm in situations that used to trigger you. Opportunities flow where there used to be blockages. Relationships feel deeper, richer, more aligned. And you think, when did this happen? It didn't happen in a moment. It happened in 1,000 tiny moments when you chose your future frequency over your past identity. So let me ask you right now, what's the emotion you're committed to embodying this week? Comment it below. Declare it. Because the moment you claim it, you're not just typing words, you're sending a signal. And the field is listening. Because here's the truth. Reality isn't responding to your plans. It's responding to your energy. And when you master your emotions, you master your frequency. And when you master your frequency, you master your life. The hidden sabotage loop. Why your mind fights your highest timeline and how to break it. You've felt it, haven't you? That invisible resistance every time you try to change. The moment you start leveling up, something pulls you back, like quicksand disguised as comfort. You swear you're ready to move forward, but suddenly you're procrastinating, doubting, self-sabotaging. Ever wonder why? Here's the shocking truth. It's not bad luck. It's not the universe testing you. It's your own mind fighting for survival. Let me explain something most people never realize. Your brain is not designed to make you happy. It's designed to keep you alive. And to your brain, alive means familiar. It doesn't care if your familiar is misery, scarcity, loneliness. It only cares that it knows the pattern. Because to your primitive survival system, familiarity equals safety. So the moment you start creating a new reality, the moment you choose abundance over lack, love over fear, alignment over chaos, your nervous system panics. It floods your body with stress hormones. Your mind whispers lies like, this feels wrong. You're not ready. What if you fail? Why? Because unfamiliar feels dangerous, even when it's exactly what you need. Think about it. That's why people stay in toxic relationships. They feel familiar. That's why people sabotage careers right before the breakthrough. They feel unfamiliar. It's why someone who grew up around scarcity feels anxiety when money starts flowing. Not because they don't want it, but because their nervous system doesn't recognize it as safe. This is the hidden sabotage loop, the old you fighting to stay alive inside the new you. Let's make this raw. Have you ever decided, I'm going to change my life, and for a few days, you felt unstoppable? You were visualizing, meditating, making plans, and then out of nowhere, you crashed. Maybe you got sick. Maybe you had a meltdown. Maybe you convinced yourself it was stupid and gave up. That wasn't random. That was your old emotional addiction pulling you back into the timeline where it knows how to survive. Here's what no one tells you. You are chemically addicted to your identity. Every emotion you've repeated, anger, stress, shame, unworthiness, created a chemical cocktail your body learned to crave. When you stop feeding it, your body goes into withdrawal. It will make you think negative thoughts just to trigger those old chemicals again. That voice saying, asterisk, you'll never change. That's not truth. That's chemistry. And here's the most dangerous part. Most people mistake that withdrawal for intuition. They think, maybe this isn't for me. Maybe I'm not ready. And they quit seconds before the breakthrough. But not you. Not anymore. Because now you know the game. So how do you break it? How do you kill the sabotage loop before it kills your dreams? You do what 99% of people never do. You make the unfamiliar feel safe. This is the art of nervous system reprogramming. It starts with awareness. The next time fear rises when you take a bold step, instead of saying something's wrong, you say something's changing. You don't collapse into the old state. You breathe. You stay. You teach your body that new doesn't mean danger. It means evolution. You reframe discomfort as evidence of growth. You stop expecting the new timeline to feel comfortable and start celebrating that it doesn't. Because every time you choose the unfamiliar frequency over the familiar pain, you're literally pruning old neural pathways and wiring new ones. And here's the hack most people miss. Pair the new with pleasure. When you do something unfamiliar, like setting boundaries, or speaking your truth, or visualizing abundance, anchor it to a feeling of safety. Play music you love. Move your body in a way that feels good. Breathe slow and deep. Why? Because the body learns through association. The faster you link the new habit to calm and joy, the faster your brain rewires for it. But let me warn you, your old identity won't die quietly. It will throw tantrums. It will try to lure you back with old triggers. It will send people, situations, and thoughts to test you. And when that happens, you'll feel the urge to collapse. Don't. Stand still. Hold a frequency. Remind yourself, this is just my nervous system learning a new language. And I'm a teacher now. Because here's the punchline. The old you isn't the enemy. It's the wounded protector that kept you alive. But survival isn't the goal anymore. Life is. Expansion is. Freedom is. And the only way out is through the discomfort, the uncertainty, the craving for the familiar. Imagine this. You break the loop. You hold your ground when every cell in your body screams to go back. And then, one day, something clicks. The new frequency feels normal. The new timeline feels like home. And the things that once terrified you, they feel boring. That's the moment you know you've won. And when that happens, listen to me, you'll cry. Because you'll realize how small the old you lived. How many years you spent in prisons that didn't even have walls. And you'll feel something you maybe haven't felt in years. Real freedom. Now pause and ask yourself, are you willing to feel temporary discomfort for permanent liberation? Or will you keep sacrificing your future for the safety of your past? Type this in the comments right now. I choose growth over comfort. Not for me, for you. Because every time you declare it, you're programming your subconscious. You're anchoring a new identity. And that identity, the one that chooses evolution over fear, that's the identity that wins. Quantum command. How to make reality obey your frequency. Stop. Take a breath. Feel the heartbeat. Because what I'm about to tell you is the line between living as a pawn in someone else's game and becoming the architect of your entire reality. You've been lied to since birth. They told you reality is fixed. They told you you're a product of your environment. They told you that's just the way life is. But here's the truth they never wanted you to know. Reality doesn't happen to you. It responds to you. Read that again. Slowly. Reality responds to you. Every thought, every emotion, every silent assumption about who you are and what's possible. That's the code. That's the operating system creating the world you see. And right now, your life is nothing but a mirror reflecting the frequency you've been broadcasting unconsciously. You felt it, haven't you? Those moments when you thought of someone and they called. When you decided to change and suddenly opportunities appeared. That wasn't coincidence. That was quantum mechanics in action. That was you collapsing infinite possibilities into a single timeline with your attention. But here's the painful part. If your dominant frequency is fear, what do you think shows up? More fear. If your dominant story is, I'm not enough, what does the universe deliver? Evidence that you're not enough. And you think life is punishing you. No, life is obeying you. Sit with that. Feel the weight of it. Because this means something terrifying and liberating. You're not a victim. You never were. You've been the author all along. You just didn't know you were holding the pen. So what now? You learn to write differently. You learn quantum command. What is quantum command? It's the art of aligning your frequency so precisely with the reality you want that the universe has no choice but to deliver it. Not someday, not maybe, inevitably. Because when your inner world becomes coherent, your outer world has to rearrange. That's physics. Here's the first rule. Clarity collapses chaos. You cannot manifest what you vaguely want. I want more money is chaos. I want $10,000 by next month so I can invest in X is clarity. The field doesn't respond to wishes. It responds to specificity. But clarity alone isn't enough. Because your words can say one thing while your energy screams another. You can affirm, I am abundant, but if your body vibrates scarcity, guess which signal wins? The one with emotion. Always. So the second rule, emotion is the signal booster. Thoughts create the blueprint. Emotion sends the order. If you can feel the reality as if it's already yours, if you can live in the state of the wish fulfilled, the universe bends. It has to, because in the quantum field, your vibration is the only proof that matters. But let me take you deeper. Most people try to manifest from lack. They visualize the thing they want while vibrating with the belief, I don't have it yet. That's why nothing changes. The signal says, keep it away, and the field obeys. Here's the hack. You don't manifest what you want. You manifest what you are. So stop asking, how do I get it? And start asking, who do I need to become so having it feels natural? That's the identity shift. That's where quantum command begins. And this is where it gets emotional, because the old identity won't go quietly. The version of you that believes love is unsafe, that abundance is for other people, that power will make you lonely, that version will fight for its life. It will whisper, don't risk it. Stay small. Play safe. And you'll want to listen because fear feels familiar. But listen to me. That voice is not truth. That voice is programming. And every time you obey it, you delay the life that's already waiting for you in the field. So what do? You start broadcasting a new frequency. Not once, not twice, but until it becomes your default setting. You wake up and choose it before your feet hit the floor. You walk through the day as if it's already done. You don't wait for evidence. You create it by embodying the energy of the outcome now. Let me make this visceral. Close your eyes after you read this line and imagine it. You wake up tomorrow and every single thing you wanted, money, love, freedom, it's yours. What does your body feel like? Light? Strong? Calm? How do you move? How do you speak? What choices do you make? That feeling, that is the password to the timeline. That feeling is what you rehearse until your nervous system can't tell the difference between imagined and real. Because here's the secret. The brain doesn't know the difference. It fires the same neurons. It floods the same chemicals. And the quantum field, it responds to the signal, not the source. Do you get what this means? It means the gap between your dream and your reality isn't time. It's frequency. Close the gap, and reality has to catch up. But let me warn you, the moment you start broadcasting a higher frequency, two things will happen. Your old timeline will test you, and the new one will tempt you. People will trigger you. Circumstances will shake you. Not because you're failing, but because the field is asking, are you coherent or are you faking it? This is where most people quit. They think it's not working. No, it's working perfectly. The tests aren't punishment. They're calibration. Every trigger is asking, will you hold the frequency or fold back into the old identity? And here's the raw truth. Until you choose the new state in the face of the old evidence, you don't own it. You're just renting it. But when you hold it, when everything screams, give up, and you breathe and stay, something shifts. The field locks in. The old timeline collapses. And reality reshapes so fast, it feels supernatural. This isn't magic. This is mechanics. The quantum field doesn't respond to words. It responds to coherence. When your thoughts, emotions, and actions align, you become magnetic. And when you hit that state, doors don't just open, they disappear. Because walls were never real. So here's your challenge. For the next 24 hours, live as if it's already done. Not in a fake it till you make it way. In a feel it till you are it way. Move how the future you moves. Speak how they speak. Think how they think. Not for someday. For now. Type it in the comments. I am the frequency. Say it out loud. Let your cells hear it. Because the moment you do, you're no longer chasing reality. You're commanding it. This is quantum power. And it's yours the second you stop waiting for life to change and start broadcasting the change you want life to mirror. The collapse point. How to break every limiting timeline in one decision. This is it. The part most people never reach. The point where timelines break. Where old identities die. Where you stop trying to manifest and start commanding reality like the quantum creator you've always been. I call this the collapse point. And when you understand it, everything shifts fast. But let's make this raw and emotional because you need to feel in your bones. Right now, as you read this, you're carrying two versions of yourself. One is clinging to survival, terrified of losing what feels familiar. The other is roaring to rise, to live fully, to step into the power you've been pretending you don't have. And here's the truth, only one can live. The collapse point is the moment you choose. Not someday, not when you feel ready. Now, in this breath. It's the instant where the gap between who you've been and who you're becoming disappears because you burn the bridge. There's no going back. Do you feel that resistance in your chest right now? That fear whispering, what if it doesn't work? What if you fail? That's the old timeline begging for its life. And you've fed it long enough. Let me hit you with something brutal. Fear is not proof that you're on the wrong path. Fear is proof you're crossing the threshold. Every system fights to maintain itself, including your old identity. The discomfort isn't danger. It's a sign you're pulling reality out of autopilot and steering it consciously. And yes, it will feel like death, because something is dying. The version of you that stayed small, that lived for approval, that begged life to change while secretly believing it never would. That self cannot come with you. The collapse point isn't a mindset trick. It's a full-body decision. It's when you stop negotiating with your old story. No more maybe later. No more what if I fail. It's done. You speak it. You embody it. You burn the ships so thoroughly that retreat isn't even an option. And the moment you do, the quantum field reacts instantly. Because energy loves certainty. Indecision leaks power. Half choices create half results. But when you lock in, when your thoughts, emotions, and actions all scream the same signal, the field bends. It doesn't have a choice. Here's how it works in real time. You make the decision, and the evidence appears after. Not before, after. And this is where 99% of people sabotage themselves. They wait for proof before they choose. They want the money before they act like abundance. They want the love before they open their heart. They want the opportunity before they leave what's killing them. It doesn't work like that. Reality follows your frequency, not your fears. Let me give you a visual. Imagine the old timeline as a bridge behind you, and the new timeline as land you can't quite see through the fog. Most people stand in the middle, one foot on each side, saying, when the fog clears, I'll move. And guess what? It never clears, because clarity is earned through commitment. The collapse point is when you turn around, douse the bridge in gasoline, and set it on fire. You watch the flames rise and say, there's no going back. I will figure it out on the way. That energy? That's the frequency the quantum field recognizes. That's when synchronicities explode. That's when a phone call comes. The offer. The door you couldn't even see before. Because you've finally aligned with the identity that matches that reality. But let me make this real for you. Right now, think about the decision you've been avoiding. The one that lives in your gut like a quiet ache. The thing you know you need to do to become the version of you you've been dreaming about. Got it? Hold it in your mind. Now hear me. That decision is your collapse point. And if you keep waiting for perfect timing for the fear to disappear, for a guarantee, it will never come. Because fear doesn't leave first. Courage comes first. Then fear dissolves. So here's the process. Declare it. Out loud. To yourself. To the universe. Put your nervous system on notice that the old game is over. Destroy the exits. Delete the fallback plan. Remove the safety net that's keeping you small. Because as long as it's there, your old identity will seduce you back. Double down on embodiment. Don't just think the new reality. Live it. Walk, breathe, speak like the version of you who already crossed over. The body must feel what the mind knows. Detox your environment. People, places, habits that pull you back. They go, not because you're better, but because they're not aligned with where you're headed. And here's the twist that will shake you. The collapse point isn't about doing more. It's about becoming undeniable. When your energy screams certainty, you don't chase. You attract. You don't beg. You magnetize. But warning, the moment you hit this frequency, life will test you. The old timeline will send its best traps. Ex-lovers texting. Old jobs offering a raise. Friends mocking a new path. It will feel like the universe is against you. It's not. It's asking, do you want the old world or the new one? And if you choose the new one, Even when it costs you comfort, you win. Because the moment you choose alignment over approval, everything changes. You collapse years of waiting into weeks of transformation. So here's what I want you to do. Drop this in the comments right now. I burn the bridge. Make it real. Let your subconscious hear it. Let the quantum field feel it. And when you do, when you commit at this level, your future self, the one who's been waiting at the other side, finally exhales. Because you just did the one thing most never will. You chose to live as the cause, not the effect. The collapse point is your rebirth. And it's happening right now. The frequency lock. How to stay magnetic even when life shakes you. This is the end game. The part where most people fall back into old loops because they don't understand the truth about power. Creating your reality isn't about the breakthrough moment. It's about holding the frequency when the world tries to pull you out of it. You've burned the bridge. You've chosen the new timeline. That was the ignition. But ignition isn't enough. You need sustained thrust to break orbit. Because the gravitational pull of your old patterns, your old identity, your old environment, it's strong. And if you're not intentional, it will drag you back before you even realize it. The question isn't, can you rise when you feel inspired? That's easy. The question is, can you hold a line when it's quiet? When no one is clapping? When the evidence hasn't shown up yet? Because here's the quantum paradox. The moment you collapse a timeline, reality doesn't always shift instantly in the physical. The energy shifts first. Matter follows. There's a lag. And that lag is where most dreams die. Why? Because the mind panics. It says, see, nothing's happening. Go back. Play safe. Forget this alignment stuff. And if you listen, the field listens. You start broadcasting doubt again. And guess what? The old timeline resurrects. This is why you need the frequency lock. It's the final weapon. The one thing that separates those who dabble in manifestation from those who master reality creation. Here's the principle. Reality isn't testing you. It's mirroring you. If the external world feels shaky, it's because your internal signal is flickering. Lock the signal, and the mirror stabilizes. So how do you do it? How do you stay magnetic even when life shakes you? 3 words. Embodied coherence daily. Let me break that down. 1. Morning frequency calibration. Before the world touches you, you touch the quantum. This isn't fluffy morning routine talk. This is neurological reprogramming. When you wake up, your brain is in theta, the perfect state to install identity. So what do? You saturate your nervous system with the future. Visualization, yes, but not as a mental movie, as a full-body rehearsal. Feel the clothes your future self wears. Hear the sound of their voice. Taste the coffee in their morning ritual. Smell the air in their reality. Your brain doesn't know the difference between imagined and real. Fire those circuits now, and they wire together permanently. 10 minutes. Non-negotiable. If you skip this, you're choosing default programming. Period. 2. Anchor words plus breath. Here's a brutal truth. When life punches you in the gut, and it will, your primal brain hijacks you. Fight, flight, freeze. That's when you need anchors. A phrase and a breath pattern that slam you back into coherence in seconds. Here's mine. Phrase. I create. I don't chase. Breath. Inhale for 4, hold for 4, exhale for 8. Twice. Why does it work? Because physiology dominates psychology. Slow the breath, and the fear signal shuts off. Speak the phrase, and the quantum signal turns back on. You tell the field, I'm still locked in. No flicker. 3. Environmental shielding. Let me say this raw. Your environment is either your ally or your assassin. Every conversation, every scroll, every piece of content is either reinforcing your new timeline or dragging you back to the old. Stop romanticizing the idea that you can swim in chaos and stay coherent. You can't. Not yet. Curate your inputs like your life depends on it, because it does. If it doesn't elevate you, eliminate it. That means the friend who only calls to complain? Distance. The social feed full of fear and drama? Delete. This isn't cold. It's quantum hygiene. And here's the deeper layer. Add resonance reminders everywhere. Your phone wallpaper? A phrase that electrifies you. Your mirror? Sticky notes with the identity you're becoming. Micro cues, constant signals, until your nervous system doesn't just believe, it knows. 4. Collapse doubt in real time. Listen carefully. Doubt is the most expensive thought you can afford. Every time you entertain it, you broadcast static. Static scrambles manifestation. So here's the hack. The second you feel doubt, you don't argue with it. You don't analyze it. You don't drown in it. You interrupt it with embodiment. Stand up, shoulders back. Walk across the room like the reality is already yours. Speak the affirmation like it's law. Play the song that matches your future. You don't wait to feel certain. You act certain, because the body can drag the mind where the mind refuses to go. And here's the secret most people never learn. The faster you collapse doubt, the less momentum it gains. Catch it at the spark, and you don't need to fight the fire. 5. Service as stabilizer. This will sound counterintuitive, but it's quantum truth. When your reality feels shaky, pour into someone else. Not from depletion, but from overflow. Why? Because service anchors identity. When you help someone rise, you reinforce the belief that you have something worth giving. Scarcity dissolves. Abundance expands. And the frequency you broadcast multiplies because the field responds to contribution like nothing else. Now, let's talk about the energy of inevitability. When you lock the frequency, you stop hoping and start knowing. And when you know, you stop chasing. You become magnetic, not because you're lucky, but because you're coherent. People feel it. Opportunities feel it. Life feels it. And they all bend toward you because your signal is clean. No static, no split energy, just pure alignment humming through every cell of your being. Imagine waking up a year from now and realizing the life you're living was the life you used to script in your journal. Not because of luck, not because of chance, but because you mastered the art of staying locked in when everyone else was spiraling out. That's the game. That's the edge. Not more hustle, not more hacks, just unwavering, embodied coherence. The question is, will you hold the line? Will you stay magnetic when the old timeline begs for attention? Will you live as the signal or the static? Drop this in the comments right now. Fire. I hold the frequency. Let your nervous system hear it. Let the quantum field register it. Let your future self smile because you finally understand you are the cause. The effect is inevitable.